So,
Oh, cute dog.
thank you. My Great Dane likes to make an appearance. But okay, so just an intro for myself real quick. My name is Leslie Suarez. I work with eXp. I also do a lot of service for my local association, the state association, and then also for National Association of Realtors. But in today's class, we're going to go over all the basics of KVCore to make sure that you are set up and you have your system working properly. The great thing about using KVCore with eXp is that they do set it up for you. So there's not a whole lot that you necessarily have to do. Your website is going to work without you doing any changes. However, it'll work that much better if you do some simple things that I'm going to show you. So the first one is if you're on the back end of KVCore, the first thing that we want to do is update your profile. So your name is always going to be in the top right corner.
Yes.
I'll show you what some of your KVCore tools are. So you do have a smart number that's there. That smart number won't necessarily be your cell phone number. It's going to be a number that KVCore provides. But if somebody were to call that number, it's going to ring on your cell phone as well as be logged in your KVCore. So you don't have to log the call after the fact.
Okay.
The next one, which is going to be your first name dot last name at eXpRealty.com, is your email address. And then your website domain, which you can always get vanity domains, and we go over that tomorrow in the advanced class, because I do recommend that you use a vanity domain. But your actual website is going to be first name, last name .eXpRealty.com.
Yeah.
And I do recommend using vanity domains because it's just that much easier for people to find your website, because most of your clients aren't going to remember your first name, last name, where the dots go, all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll show you how to do that tomorrow. And then underneath that, there's going to be a link for your personalized app. So with KVCore, you have your website, which is here.
Yep.
And we're going to go over all of that in just a second. You also have the KVCore site, which is like the back end of your website.
Okay.
There also is a KVCore app for you called Core Mobile. And it's basically the back end of this website so that you can contact people through KVCore rather than texting them directly through your cell phone. So there's the KVCore mobile. And then on top of that, there's also an app that you can send out to your clients. This app is kind of like a Zillow or realtor.com, and it's a place for your clients to be able to search for properties. And so if you have clients that text you properties from Zillow and they're like, hey, I want to come see or go see this one or whatever else. All of us realtors get that occasionally. One of the things that you should do is respond back to them and say, okay, awesome. I'll look up that property. Give me just a second. In the meantime, here's a link to my app that you can search for properties. And that way you don't have to worry about sending them to me. All you have to do is like it, and it's going to be saved on your profile so I can see it all.
Okay.
It's important that your clients use this, not only because it makes it easier and you're able to keep up with what they're doing on the back end of your website. But on top of that, if somebody goes to Zillow or realtor.com and they're looking for properties, there's a million buttons for them to click where they can contact a realtor, and it's not going to be you. And so it prevents you from like losing those leads that you've worked hard to cultivate is by getting them on your app, not Zillow. So I always take it whenever a client sends me like a Zillow link, I take that as my opportunity to educate them on using either my website or my app. So you can definitely send people an invitation to your app by putting in their information here and doing that. It'll text them a link to where they can download it, or you can always have clients scan this QR code and it would give them your app as well.
I really like that. Yeah.
And there's even more ways of sending them your app on the KVCore system. And we'll get to that in a little while, but I at least wanted to show you what these 4 things are on top of your actual profile.
Okay.
But if you click on my profile, when you're in my profile, you do want to hit edit profile, which is this blue button.
Yeah.
So click that. And some of the key things that I recommend for you to change would be to change your image.
Okay.
You can change it to either your headshot, a logo, or any picture of you, a picture of you and your family, whatever you want to portray to your clients.
Yeah.
That's going to go right here on the front of the website.
Okay.
So you're going to change that. Again, if you want it to be a logo, you can, but I will tell you that in the advanced class, I do show you how to put a secondary logo here. So if you're part of a team or a group, you can definitely put that logo up here next to EXP's logo and save this for a picture of yourself. But if that's where you want your logo, you can also do it that way.
Okay.
Also, you have your first name and last name that are going to go here.
Yeah.
And then underneath that, you can put a tagline. That's what's going to like be portrayed here. And then the tagline is what's portrayed here. So chances are it says realtor on yours, but if somebody's on your website, they probably already know you're a realtor. So it's kind of better to put some sort of tagline, like mine is making your real estate dreams come true.
Yeah, that's nice.
But there's also a lot of clever ones, like I hold the keys to your future, all sorts of things that I've had agents tell me. So, but I would recommend putting some sort of tagline rather than just realtor.
Okay.
Then as you scroll down, you can choose what information you want to put in. As far as on the right-hand side, you can put in your social media links. And I only recommend to put these in on ones that you actively use. Like I do have Pinterest and I do have Twitter, but I don't use them. I can't even tell you the last time I put up a tweet. It's been decades, probably. So don't put up the ones that you're not using, because then if somebody clicks on it, it's going to be up here on your website. So say I were to click on that, it's going to show them that you haven't been active. Like if I scroll down and I'm looking at everything, I can see, oh, okay, this person's active. They just posted, you know, it's not 6 months ago or a year ago, but it was recent. So I do recommend making sure that you're only putting things that you're actually using, because it's kind of like a digital close sign. Like if you were to put your Facebook page and then not comment on your Facebook page for a year, people, when they look at it, they might be like, oh, maybe he doesn't do real estate anymore. And you don't want that thought to cross people's minds. So I only use the ones that I'm actively on a regular basis. Then on the left-hand side, you'll have your cell phone number, and then you also have your smart number. You can choose which one you want on your website by clicking which one.
Okay.
Y'all are going to have your EXP email address here.
Yeah.
But I actually have a different email address that I use more than my EXP email address. Like I use the 561 Leslie for everything.
Okay.
My website name. So if I were to type in 561leslie.com, it takes you to my KVCore site.
Okay.
So that is like what I project everybody is 561leslie.com and 561leslie@gmail.com, because it's easy for my clients to remember. It's our area code. So if you have another email that you use more than your EXP email and you want that to be where all of the things come from. So for example, when KVCore sends out an email on my behalf, which it's going to do for you, whether or not you want it to, it's going to send out emails. And so do you want it to come from your long EXP email address, or do you want it to come from a different email address? And you can pick and choose which one you'd prefer. So I do have a secondary email address here. Now, an insider trick that I really recommend for you to do is that on both of these email addresses, I highly recommend that you go into your smartphone and that you have these email addresses connected to your smartphone, number one, because you're a realtor and you need to be able to check your emails when you're on the go. But number two, when you add this email address as like to your phone, it will give you the option as if you want to sync the contacts, the calendar, the notes, and something else. I forget. It asks you what things you want to sync with that email address to your phone. I highly recommend that you bare minimum sync the contacts for the email addresses that you have on KVCore. The reason being is if, for example, if I am at the nail salon and I'm start talking to the girl next to me and I give her my card and she gives me her number and I'm adding her into my phone, if my contacts are synced from these email addresses, every person that I add to my phone is automatically going to be added to my CRM.
I see. Okay.
So I never have to come home and add people into my CRM anymore. It's all already done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my dog likes to be a part of it. So it will save you a lot of time and effort. And that's one of the biggest tricks. The other thing that I do recommend is sync the calendar too, because KVCore will create things for you to do. Like some mornings you'll wake up and KVCore is like, hey, you should contact Joe Schmo and you should contact Barbara Streisand today, you know, and contact those people. But if you don't have your calendar synced, those tasks aren't going to show up in your calendar. So sync your calendar and your contacts, because it will keep you on track.
Okay.
Then underneath that, it says from name, like who do you want the emails to be coming from? I go by Leslie Suarez. That's it. Like, I don't go by Les or anything cool, but if you wanted it to come from something like Tony
Yeah.
instead of Anthony, you could definitely put that there as well.
Okay.
The rest of it isn't necessarily anything that you have to do. So I'd say this top section on both of these is the most important.
Okay.
And as you scroll down, there's also an about me section. The about me section, I always just thought was on your website. So if we look at your website, I just want to show you this. When we're on your website, we have searching for homes. You scroll down, there's testimonials.
Yeah.
These are things that we do change in the advanced class, but you have different carousels. This is called a carousel because they can circle through all the different listings. But you have carousels of listings, open houses, things that were just listed. Those are all customizable if you want to. But underneath that, you have your about me section. And I always thought this was the only place that this was. Like, okay, it's not a huge deal. People have to scroll really far down on my website before they're going to see it. But I will tell you, if anybody gets a home valuation, meaning like they click free home valuation on your website and they type in their address, when it emails them the estimate of what their home is worth, it also emails them your about me section. See right here? So I really do strongly recommend that you do a thorough about me section because it's not just on your website, but it's emailed out to anybody that could be looking at you as a realtor.
Okay.
So a couple tips that I recommend is refer to yourself in the third person, so all of this is like she joined, not I joined. But also in here that's important is put the year that you were licensed since.
Okay.
The reason being is when I first came to eXp, I came to eXp in 2015. So I wrote like, oh, Leslie's been licensed for 1.5 years. And then I didn't update my about me section for 3 years. So here I am in real estate for almost 5 years. And my profile still says I've only been in real estate for 1.5 years.
Okay.
So I do recommend the year since you've been licensed rather than how long you've been licensed. Put in anything you can. Like, so if you've won an award, even if it's nothing to do with real estate, like if you win humanitarian of the year through your community or anything that makes you who you are, I strongly encourage you to put that in there. Most of my about me section is all real estate related, but I do have a little bit of personal stuff in there. I put like, I'm a proud mom of 2 boys. And then I'm a part of my community. So it doesn't have to be as long as mine is. It can be any amount, but I recommend that you do it thoroughly.
Okay.
So that's your about me section, which is there. And then the last thing that you need to do is your signature.
Okay.
Things that I recommend in your signature is put your website address, your email address, and then I actually put call or text my number because I find that a lot of people are starting to text me when they didn't have time to necessarily call me. So people always tell me, oh, I'm so glad that I knew that that was a number I could call or text. So that's something that I do.
You're Palm Beach County, the vice president?
For the Realtors Association.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
Where are you? You're in Ottawa, Canada. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Where it's cold. You're in the nice place where I'd love to go and live.
Yep, I am in sunny and beautiful Florida where I could never move away. But I did go to Canada a couple weeks ago for a vacation.
Oh, okay. Where about?
I went to Whistler for the first time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Whistler is nice. Yes.
It was gorgeous. So I brought home lots of smoked salmon and maple syrup.
Yeah, I bet.
That's good. But that's pretty much it for your about me section. You know, you can do more, you can do less, but I'd recommend those things. Now there's a lot that I want to teach you, but some other things that I want you to set up before we get into the nitty-gritty of KVCore and your CRM is if you go on the left-hand side. To show you this, there's 3 little lines there, and that'll spread this out because it's really hard to see what these are unless you have it spread out. So I normally leave mine open like that.
Okay.
But on web and IDX, I want you to go to website content because there's a couple things here that will really increase the traffic to your website.
Okay.
Number 1 is service areas and SEO.
Okay.
Do you know what SEO means? Are you familiar with it?
Yes, search engine optimization. Yeah.
Exactly. So I had used the term SEO for a really long time before I actually understood what it meant. So I think it's important for us to have that understanding so that we can work better with it. But
Yes.
search engine optimization is really when somebody goes to a search engine, and the biggest example of that is Google. So if somebody were to go to Google and type in Boca Raton Realtor, you know,
Yes.
am I going to populate? Am I going to show up in that search, or am I not going to show up? The ways that you can show up is by adding the areas that you work into your service areas. So there's lots of different ways that people will search for a realtor on Google. I find that my clients from northern states, specifically New York, always search by zip code.
Okay.
And so you want to make sure to add in any of the zip codes that you work in. If it's somebody local and they're moving from one area to another in the same city, they typically search by community names, like homes for sale in Southwind Lakes, which is the name of the neighborhood. So you also want to put in neighborhood names, and then people from everywhere else will search by city names. So to add things to the list, you want to add as many as possible, but all you have to do is start typing it out. So if I were to type out the city of Wellington, I already have the city of Wellington on my list, so it's not going to be here, but I can also add anything else to do with Wellington as well.
Okay.
So you just want to come in here and pretty much just keep adding everything to the list until there's nothing left for you to keep adding.
Okay.
And then do that with your surrounding areas that you also work in. If you're driving down the street and you see the name of a community, come home to your KVCore and add that to your service areas if it's somewhere that you'd want to sell.
Okay. Do you get a lot of referrals from there, from the KVCore, from that exactly?
Yes. So I've gotten a lot of people that I've never met before because they did a Google search and landed on my website.
Okay, just because you added those service area and the SEO was generating from your KVCore.
Yep.
Okay. Wow.
So like, for example, I don't have Long Lake Estates. That's where most of the celebrities in Boca Raton live. Like the homes are several $1 million. Of course, I want that on my list.
Yeah.
You know, so like just going through here, you'll find more and more places that you're like, oh, I never added that to my list. I never added.
Okay.
So I'm constantly coming in here and adding more and more and more.
Okay. Wow.
So it's better to have as many as you can than not enough. Like I'd rather you have 100 on here than 10.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Add in as many different ways, whether it's the postal code, the neighborhood, the city, just keep adding and adding and adding them until you have nothing left to add.
Okay. I'll do that.
So that helps. And basically the biggest way that that's helping is if somebody goes to Google and they're searching for a realtor or they're searching to buy a home, you want them to land on your website. So that's one of the ways. The other way that you really increase your SEO is by blogging. And I'm not a writer, I'm not a blogger, but I do try to come in here every couple months and put up a new blog post.
Okay.
So being, as I'm going to show you this, is that it will show you how many people landed on your website, but your blog is going to be search engine optimized, just like that last list is. So say like this post, for example, was about homeowners insurance. Right now in Florida, there's a big problem with homeowners insurance. So I posted this one in September. I had 682 people land on my website because of this blog post.
Wow. Okay.
And they're not like long blog posts. And then this one was about EXP. 975 people landed on my website when I did a post about why top agents are coming to EXP. So I do recommend that you blog. The more you blog, the better. I'm not a blogger myself, so I'd say do as I say, not as I do, but I try to make myself do one at least every 2 months.
Okay.
But it takes you about 5 minutes. You do add a post, you type out what the post would be about, then you type out some content. You can even add a photo, and you can like geotag your photo. So you do want to do a good description on it, because that'll also go into the SEO.
Okay.
Sports. But you can add as much or as little. It could be 3 sentences long, but it takes all of the words from your blog posts and keywords them on your website.
Okay. Wow.
So 2 little things that you can do to help increase where you land on Google when people are searching for realtors.
Okay. In your blog, would you put like, your phone number or something, or no, it all there?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
like this one. Let's see, for some reason, it's not populating what the post was. Normally, when I click on that, it'll show me my actual post. That's so weird.
Yeah.
Let me click on a different one.
Okay.
I'm a popular girl today. My phone has not stopped ringing. It's weird. For some reason, it's not pulling up my really old ones. Let's look at this one. I don't know why, but it's not showing you what I actually typed out. But I normally do end it with like Leslie Suarez and basically what I put as an email signature.
Oh, okay.
But normally when I click on these, I can see them all. And for some reason, it's not showing them to me. But they're normally about a paragraph long,
Okay.
Nothing too crazy. I really don't put photos on mine ever, but you could definitely add photos. It doesn't hurt.
Okay.
Then the other thing, if we go back to site content that you can add to the front page of your website is testimonials. So I recommend that you collect any testimonials that you have from Google or Facebook or Zillow or any of the other sites. You can connect your Zillow reviews automatically. So you can click on this blue button and it will sync your Zillow reviews once you log in.
Okay.
Or you can add them in manually. It's very easy to add them in. You just write who wrote it and then copy and paste the text of the actual testimonial there and hit add.
Okay.
You can come through here and turn them off. Like say if you didn't want that review on your website, you could turn it off. Like this one's off, but I actually want that one on. Oh, that's pretty cool. She actually, let's see. So I sent out an email and my clients actually did some more testimonials for me and I didn't even realize it. The other thing that's important too is see the stars. You got to click on the 5th star to give yourself an actual 5 stars. Okay. Otherwise the stars don't show up. But you can add testimonials to your website and those pop up. Let me just go back to my actual website because we're on the valuation page. But those will appear right here and they kind of cycle through.
Okay.
So you want to have a couple of them, but I mean, not majorly important. It's just something else that you can add on there. In my area, there's over 40,000 realtors in my MLS. So competition is stark. So little things that can set you apart and sending somebody to your website when you've done a listing appointment is a great way to kind of close the deal because most people are really surprised at how good my website is. And then once I show you squeeze pages tomorrow, you'll definitely be able to lock in a listing, telling your clients so you can build them a website in a matter of minutes.
Okay.
So, there are some really great tools that KVCore has. Okay. So that's the basics of stuff, but I want to show you, like go into the smart CRM and marketing campaigns. Do you have any questions about blog?
No, I think I'll just like, play with it and try to, and if ever I have any questions, I can maybe send you an email or something. And if not, like you say, maybe retake the course again if I'm not sure about something or I want to refresh my memory. Yep, absolutely. So, and there's even on the website, I will show you. So this is the Gene Fredericks website that we're on right now. Yeah. When you scroll down on this, you can do the beginner class, which is what you're in now, the advanced class, which is the one that you're doing tomorrow. And then there's also one-on-one. So you can always grab like a 20, 30, whatever amount of time, one-on-one. Yeah. And that pulls it from my calendar if you have questions and you can't wait until the next class. So okay, perfect. All of those options are there for you. Okay. All right. So now we need to go into the smart CRM. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about smart campaigns. So on the marketing tab, one of the options is smart campaigns. If you click on that, this is important. Smart campaigns work in several different ways. Number one, you can assign a smart campaign to your client. So if you add somebody to your CRM and you want them to be on a certain campaign, you can actually assign them that campaign.
Also, if somebody's on your website searching for properties and they create their own account through KVCore, they will be in your CRM, but you'll notice they'll already have a campaign assigned to them because KVCore does watch people's behavior on your website and assigns a campaign based on what it thinks would suit them based on what their behavior was on your website. I
Okay.
love when KVCore assigns a campaign because it means it's one less thing that I have to do.
Well, that's it.
Like I think of KVCore as my virtual assistant. I'm busy, I'm on the road 24/7, but this keeps up with everything for me. So you do need campaigns. When you come in here and you're on my campaigns, chances are you're not going to have any. Like I have a big list of campaigns that I can turn on and off. But in order for you to get the same list that I have, you have to go over to the KVCore library, which is one of the tabs on the top. So you'd click KVCore library and you need to find the campaigns that you like and you want to start using.
Okay.
So an easy way to get started is you can type in the word seller or buyer and look for a seller campaign, look for a buyer campaign. You can look for a renter campaign. So you can put in some keywords and then look through these campaigns. But even then you look at this list and it's 10 different campaigns. You're like, well, which one do I choose? So the way that I look at them is I look at these two things is their channels and touches. Channels means how is it going to reach out to your client?
Okay.
Touches means how many times it's going to try to reach out to your client.
Okay.
Or your lead is the better way to put it. So channels, if I look at these, the ones that I like are the ones that use a lot of different channels, meaning it uses email, text, it creates tasks for me to keep up with them, plus also sets up phone calls for me to make with them. So this is like the full gambit where it's using all of the different ways to communicate. So I do like those versus the ones that are just like this one doesn't actually send out anything on your behalf. It just tells you what you should be doing. It's just creating tasks for you to keep up with.
Okay.
But for me, I'm very crazy busy and I explain myself like I'm a ping pong ball and I'm bouncing all over the place, showing property, going to meetings. So I need KVCore to do as much as possible. So I like the ones with all of the different channels. Then on top of that, you can look at them and say, okay, well, this one will email them 7 times versus this one's going to try to reach out to them 14 times. So you can look at them. And then before I add it to my library, all you have to do is click add to library. I like to actually click on these.
Yep.
So this one, there's different ones. Let's see. I like this one a lot. Nosy neighbor prospect to conversation. So this is meant for somebody that owns a home and you're trying to find out if they might want to sell their house. So when you click on that campaign, you can see what the campaign's doing. So it tells you that it sends you a text message. So it goes from the system to the agent. You're going to get a text message telling you that you have a new lead, but it's also going to send a text from you. Really, it's the system, but on your behalf to the contact. And I could click on that and it would say, hi, Leslie, this is Anthony with eXp. Thanks for checking out my property info on my site just now. Just curious, do you currently own a home in the area? You know, and it's meant to get answers. So there's that one. And then a couple days later, it's going to send them an email. And then when you click on the email, it says, hi, would you be interested in a detailed report? Just reply back with your address and I'll send it over. And this will be a human curated report that I will prepare for you. You know, so I like KVCore's campaigns because they're meant to actually prompt action. You know, it's not like somebody's going to read it and be like, oh, okay, I'm done. But really like subliminally and very subtly, it's kind of telling them, hey, I need this information for you so we can keep this relationship going.
Okay.
So you can scroll through this one, but this is one of the campaigns that I use a lot. Now, if I go back to the campaigns, one that I've actually never opened, but I think this one might be interesting, is this one is for people that you've had a relationship with, but now like their campaigns have expired. So you can click on that one and add this one, you know, so it's just, you can come in here and see what campaigns. So I recommend that you have a few of them, not just 1 or 2, but like a couple that are for sellers that you like. Then you're going to do the same thing with a buyer. You're going to type in buyer and search through all the buyer ones and say, okay, I like the ones like this one's starter for conversation. If I open this one up, it's going to say the first text message is going to be, hi, thanks for looking at some properties on my website a few minutes ago. Are you actively thinking about a move or just browsing for now? You know, and so you can click on these and see what they're going to say.
Okay.
And they will be in your sent folder. So if you ever get a phone call or an email from somebody and you're not quite sure what they're referencing, sometimes I'll look at my sent folder and I'll be like, oh, KVCore just sent them an email saying, do you want to go look at property this weekend? You know,
Yeah.
but you'll always be able to see what was sent. So don't worry. But you do want to find a couple. And then when you go back to my campaigns, if you've added them to your library, you need to make sure that they're on. So when it's gray, it means that KVCore can't use that one right now. But the blue ones are going to be in my drop down menu of ones for me to use. So I do recommend that you find a couple, you add them to your list. And then after that, that's when you can start adding campaigns to your clients. Any questions on picking out campaigns or what type of campaigns you need?
No, I think it's good. It's pretty clear. I'll go and check it out in the library and see which one I'm gonna pick. Yeah.
Yep. And so that's how I look at it, is touches and channels.
And channel. Yeah.
Okay. So now if we go to the Smart CRM, it's going to be everybody that you've like slowly put in here. Do you have a database from a past brokerage or no?
Yeah, well, I don't, but now I have leads that are I probably have like 82 in there or 92
Nice.
from Jeff. Yeah, because I work with Jeff. We all work under the same channel, I should say, and help out each other. So he did send me a bunch of leads.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
The reason why I ask is because sometimes people will come from another brokerage and they'll have had a CRM in the past.
Okay.
And so if you have a CRM, you can actually bulk import all those leads.
Okay.
But it's kind of nice to start from scratch with KVCore. So you're kind of starting from the beginning and you can kind of go in and add people. I never really have to use the add contact button anymore because I add people in my phone and it syncs to KVCore.
Okay.
But if you need to add somebody in, you would click this green button and kind of go through the prompts. The things that it's going to ask you would be first name, last name, email. Put in as much information as you have. If you don't have their cell phone, that's okay. But if you do, put it in there. Then it says, do you have permission to contact this person? And you would change these to yes, unless you know that the person's on the do not call list.
Okay.
I will tell you, KVCore will check if they're on the do not call list and will make a note of it on their account. So you'll see, I'll show you that in just a minute.
Okay.
If you have their address, you can add in their address. You can choose if they're a buyer, seller, renter, vendor, or agent. Vendor would be anybody that like is in the real estate world, but not a realtor. So title agents, lenders, mortgage people, moving companies, interior designers, all of that.
Okay.
And a lot of people ask me, Leslie, why do you add in all of your vendors? And it's because I do have emails that go out on a regular basis. And I have gotten some very, very big referrals from vendors. And when I asked them why they called me, so for example, last summer, I got a call from a vendor. And he said to me, hey, Leslie, I have a deal that just fell apart, but I have clients that are pre-approved for $1.3 million. Do you want the lead? And I was like, yeah, pre-approved buyers ready to go. They already know where they want to live. Let's go. $1.3 million. Thank you. But afterwards, I did ask him, I said, what made you think of me? You had so many realtors that you could have called. And he was like, honestly, it was that a couple minutes before I got your email about market updates. And it was like emails that I just have people on drip campaigns for or smart campaigns for. So even though KVCore didn't actually get me that list, like that lead, it was not a lead from KVCore, but KVCore made that lender think of me when it was time to give out that lead. Yeah. So I add in my vendors. I also add in agents because I do try to recruit agents sometimes and I let them know about events that are going on. So I do tag or I do add in any agent that I meet as well. And so you just tag them as an agent or a buyer or a seller or one or the other, you know? Underneath that, the lead status will ask you like, how do you know this person? So a sphere is just anybody. You can mark any person you want as a sphere. It just means that they're somewhere in your social circle, or they're somewhere in your, they've come into contact with you already. So whether it's somebody that came in through KVCore or somebody that you met at the hair salon, now they're in your sphere. Then as you move through this, it gets a little bit more specific. So a prospect is somebody that may buy or sell, but you're not sure when, but they're kind of on the radar of, hey, they might buy or sell. A sphere, you have no idea if they want to buy or sell. They're just somebody that you know.
Okay.
So most of your people might end up just being spheres, and that's okay. A prospect, you think they might want to buy or sell, but you have no idea what their timeline is. A new lead is somebody that definitely wants to buy or sell.
Okay.
Again, you might not be sure. An active lead is somebody that you're working with, that you know they want to buy or sell probably in the next 90 days.
Okay.
Client is somebody that now you're working with them, you're showing them property, you've built a relationship past prospect or sphere, you know?
Yeah.
Contract means that you have them under contract, and close means that you just finished the transaction with them.
Okay.
So KVCore, sometimes like if you're, say somebody's a sphere and then they've been on your website a whole bunch, it'll move them to a new lead for you.
Okay.
You know? Or in that, does that make sense that it kind of like will pick where they belong if they're on your website?
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense.
And then if you are part of a team, like you said, when you do add people in, it'll ask you who on your team is supposed to have that.
Okay.
With me, it's just always me. And then you can choose a smart campaign. So again, we've added all those smart campaigns to your list, which right now you don't have any. So your list would be empty. You would pull this up and not have anything to choose from. I have a lot on my list, so I have a big list, and I can say, okay, I want this person to be on that campaign.
Okay.
Okay, now hashtags is something that I really like to go over with KVCore, because I'm not a hashtag person. When I post to social media, I'm not like hashtag party all weekend. So that's not the way that we're looking at these hashtags. We're looking at them as a way to categorize, label, and distinguish who these people are. So anything that I can write down about a person, like she's a grandmother of 2, she works at Smith's, you know, like if I was going to do that, instead of doing that, the better way to do it would be grandmother of 2 and works at Smith's. Okay, they're both saying the same thing.
Yeah.
But now I can actually search, like if I were to look through my clients and I were to type in the word grandmother, because that's part of her hashtag, she's going to populate.
Okay.
So anything that you can write down about the person, do it in hashtag form. The other things that I really do hashtag is where they live. So if they live in Boca Raton, I hashtag them Boca. If they live in Wellington, I hashtag them Wellington. So based on where they live. And then if they have any interests, like if I know this guy is a surfer, I'll put surfer.
Okay.
If I know this girl through real estate, I'll put like where I met her, you know, anything that you can put about somebody, put it in hashtag form.
Okay.
I'm going to exit out of this, but I'm going to show you why those hashtags are so useful. So I have a very big list of people in my CRM. It is very hard for me to find a contact in my CRM. It's not a small little list anymore. It's long. So I can obviously type in somebody's name and search for them that way, or I can hit this filters button. When I go into filters, I can search for people based on their status. Like if I wanted to send an email to all of my active leads, I could choose active leads. Also, if I come down here and I go to contact details, I can search for their hashtag and do like search for the word mom, come down here and apply filter. And chances are I'll get like a couple names where I've been like mom of 2 or boy mom, you know?
Okay.
So you can filter through based on what's going on. Also, like I said, if I wanted to send out an email to all the agents in my system, I could do agent. Let's get rid of this one. But I can do agent and hit filter, and it's only going to give me people that are realtors, and I could send out a mass email to everybody that's an agent in my system. Look, I have tons of them.
Okay, wow.
And I could do a mass email. So I would choose all of those people, do mass email. And I could either use a template, because there's tons of templates, or I could create my own email. Now, since we're on the topic of templates, I'm going to show you what some of them are. So when it's the holidays, I normally type in holiday, and I'll look for like holiday themed ones. I don't know if they have a St. Patrick's Day one, but I actually do need to send out a mass email to all of my clients about St. Patrick's Day, because it's our historical, huge St. Patrick's Day parade that goes on in our area where they close down the city. So I like to send an email about that to everybody that lives in the area. So I'll search by hashtag and all that stuff. But say it was Thanksgiving coming up and I wanted to send out an email to all of my clients. Basically, they put together these great templates that say, like this one says, imagine you're sinking your teeth into your next Thanksgiving feast, but in the home of your dreams, you know. Or if I look at the other Thanksgiving one, I like the other one even better. But just to kind of give you an idea.
Okay.
This one says like grateful for you. And I sent this one out to my clients where it says, wishing you a Thanksgiving full of food, family, and friends. Thank you for your business and for trusting me with all of your real estate needs. Reach out anytime. And then I actually put in, I had my signature, but I also put in my son's names. Like,
but the agent signature, that, so you remove that and then you put yours, right?
nope, you don't have to remove that. Anything that's in these brackets means that it's going to change it to what it's supposed to be. So don't things that are in brackets. You can change all around it, but don't ever change anything that's in a bracket. So where it says agent signature, it's going to use the signature from your profile that you set up.
Okay.
And then on some of the emails, it'll even say, for example, let's do this, where it says, hey, first name. Yeah. It's not actually going to send an email that says, hey, first name. It's going to say, hey, Tony, or hey, Anthony, however you have them saved in your system. And every person is going to get an email that says, hey, Leslie, hey, Josh, hey, Jessica, you know, as it sends it to everybody that's in your list that you just chose.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So anything that's in the brackets, don't change. Everything around the brackets, you can change as much as you want. Okay. So I normally always choose a template and then just kind of edit it. Like this one, are you still looking for homes, you know? And there's just some simple ones, and then there's also some really advanced emails, but there's tons of them in here. So pretty much anything that you could write an email about to your clients. Yeah. Oh, this one's interesting. The world's ugliest houses. I caught this ugly house video on YouTube the other day. You might find it interesting. That one looks like a spam email. I wouldn't send that one out. No. Sorry, I was curious what that was because I'd never seen that one before. But it says like still renting, you know, and so some of them are really simple, but I love the ones with like all the pictures and they're done up nice. Yeah. Okay. It's a good way to reach out to, let's say, like you say, like the ones that I'll put in my CRM from, you know, past transaction and just see how they're doing. So, and I'll click all of them and then send a mass email. So they all get it separately, right? There's no like, okay. No, it'll look like you emailed them directly. Okay, perfect. Yeah. And so things that I like to do is obviously as a realtor, when you get a new listing, it's always great to send out your listings to your sphere and everybody that's in your CRM. So you're going to send out listing, like when you get a new listing, you might send out emails with market reports. You might send out emails with like all of these different real estate related things. But one of the things that I do is I want all my clients and all of everybody that's in my CRM to want to open my emails. You know, so if I'm constantly just saying like, hey, look at what I'm selling. Hey, look at me as a realtor. Hey, look at this. People will start to either unsubscribe or just ignore my emails. Okay. So I highly suggest it occasionally, maybe once a month, or as often as you can keep a routine around it, is send out an email with events that are happening in your local area. It doesn't take you long to go on Facebook, check out what events are going on, and then send them out to people. So that's one of the reasons why I hashtag people where they live. Because if I see there's a great event in Boca, I just search for the clients that are hashtagged Boca and send it to them. Like, hey, there's a free concert in the Meisner Park Amphitheater this Friday. It's great for kids and family, you know?
Yeah.
But if I have somebody that's in Wellington, which is 45 minutes away, and I see that they have a food truck night coming up, I send that to my clients that live in Wellington. Hey guys, just wanted to touch base and let you know that there's a fun event. I'm hoping to make it with my kids. It would be great to see you there.
Okay.
But you'll find that you get so many more responses from those type of emails than you do from, hey, check out what's going on in the market.
Okay.
And it's them responding and starting a conversation with you that will get you the closed transactions. So I'm sorry, but when I send out a market report email, yeah, maybe if I send it out to 1,000 people, 2 people might respond and say like, oh, it's great to see the market's doing this, or, oh man, my house might not be worth as much now.
Yeah.
But when I send out an email to 100 people about what's going on in their community, like there was a big development that just broke ground, or we had a problem with our train tracks for a while in Boca Raton. So I sent out those emails of like, hey, this is what's going on in Boca, be in the know. And I got so many more emails back saying like, Leslie, thank you so much for sending that out. I was about to go down that road and I didn't realize it was still closed down, or whatever else. So I do get like so many more responses when it's a, hey, just for your information type email, rather than let me sell myself as a realtor type of email.
Okay, good to know. Perfect.
Now a couple other things that I do want to show you is that if you click on somebody, so let's click on this person, for example. Actually, let me go back to my overall list. Let me clear the filters. Okay. Give it 1 second. It is thinking. We've got the wheel of thought on the screen.
So the entire course is an hour, right? Just
Yeah,
okay, perfect. Okay.
we'll be done in like 5 minutes, and then if you have
Okay,
more questions.
perfect. Okay.
Okay, so this one, when you have your list of names, you can click on any of them. So I'm going to click on this one.
Okay.
I can come in here and edit everything about them. So this person is in my sphere.
Yeah.
But they're actually an EXP agent that I mentor. So I'm going to come in here and make them an agent and not a buyer. And then hashtag mentee, because I mentor her.
Okay.
But I'm going to add some hashtags on her so that way I can remember who she is in my system. Also, when you go over to actions, if you click on actions, this is where you can do a lot of stuff. So if I wanted this person to be on a campaign, I can add a campaign here. So she's already on a campaign, even though she's an EXP agent. I'm going to actually leave it on there. If she was a buyer and I wanted her to get property alerts, I could add property alerts to her there. Let me get back to my main screen. There we go. So I can add property alerts. I can add market reports. Those are great for sellers. If I wanted to give somebody a listing valuation, I could add their address and send an evaluation of their home right away.
Okay.
Also, if I wanted somebody to have my app, I could send them an invite from right here as well.
Wow. So I'm all gonna see that with actions.
Yep.
Okay.
And I will tell you, sometimes your screen will look different than what my screen looks like. I was looking at another agent's KVCore.
Okay.
Theirs was, instead of the 3 bars here, they went long ways.
Okay.
So it might be differently oriented on your screen, but if you scroll down a little bit, normally actions is somewhere over here if your screen doesn't look like my screen.
Okay, I see.
Also, say you talked to this person the other day.
Yep.
You can actually log a call or call them here. So if I wanted to call this agent right now, I could hit call. It's going to call my cell phone and then call her so that I'm on my phone for the call.
Okay.
But say I just talked to her. If I talked to her earlier, I can log a call so that KVCore knows that we've been communicating rather than being left in the dark. Talked about condos, contacted. And now KVCore knows that I've reached out to this person recently.
Okay.
So you can do as much or as little as you want with KVCore. I know it's a lot of information for me to give to you right off the top. but hopefully you'll pick a couple things up from this class. You might take it again in a couple months, pick a couple more things up.
Yeah.
I think I wanted to show you in profile details.
Yeah.
This is one of my other favorite insider tips. If you do edit details, you can come in here and add their date of birth.
Okay.
Then turn on the fact that it will send them an email or text on their birthdays.
Wow.
So I'd like to add that to everybody in my CRM. But then on top of that, I also like, if I've closed a deal with somebody, to
Okay.
add this date in there, because that way on their 1-year anniversary, on their 2-year anniversary, on their 3-year anniversary of when they closed on that home,
Yeah.
they're going to get an email from me saying, congratulations. I hope you still love your home, blah, blah, blah. It's written by KVCore, so it's going to be better than what
Okay.
comes out of my mouth right now.
Okay. Perfect. Oh,
So,
that's good. So many stuff that you can do. It's crazy. It basically does everything for you if you set it up, like you say, properly.
so it's a few hours in the beginning, and then over time, like maybe in a couple of weeks from now, you're going to get into this groove where maybe you're spending 30 minutes on KVCore Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings, and you're going to get into a routine of, okay, 30 minutes a week, like Friday mornings from 9 to 9:30, I'm logging into KVCore and I'm just updating everything.
Okay.
So eventually you'll get to that routine, but it does take several hours of getting comfortable, adding people in, changing hashtags. Like, for example, this is the Florida legal hotline. I can change this, and instead of being that, it's a vendor, not a buyer. So I'm constantly coming in here. So I do set aside time for myself to come in occasionally and make changes on things.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. Perfect.
Any other questions?
No, I'll be ready for tomorrow for the advance. I think Chris will be on that one as well. Barlow. Yeah.
We go over like squeeze pages, changing your vanity domain, as well as my favorite is squeeze pages. So that's a big portion of tomorrow. But then we also go over how to change the look, the color, your template on your website, like how you can change this, add the chat with me button, kind of change up some of the things, but none of it's something that you have to be doing for KVCore to be successful. So today is really like the guts and glory of KVCore. And then tomorrow's a lot more fun stuff and how to make good money with KVCore once you've got it set up.
Okay, perfect. I love it. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Leslie, and looking forward for tomorrow.
Absolutely. I hope you have a great day.
You as well. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for watching yet another fun class with Leslie, the Florida flamingo of a realtor. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.